Well, hello, Tnfm Patriots. This is Matthew with Truth, Not Fiction Matters.com. 12 January 2018. Got Eric on the phone with me, about to bring him in. I wanted to talk a little bit about the upcoming prepping channel. He's going to be a big part of that. He's been doing this for about 20 years. He's a good friend of mine. He kind of helped me get started in the prepping and other survival methods and the prepping way of life. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Eric on, and we're going to talk about some of our upcoming goals, projects, and some of the videos that we may start working on here to put on the channel. Hey Eric, can you hear me?
Yeah, Matt, good evening. How are you?
Doing all right. I wanted to bring you on, buddy, and just talk about some of the videos that we were talking about starting out with, as far as basic survival, food storage, guns and knives, and doing a little bit of shooting techniques and stuff like that.
Yeah. Some beans, bullets, and band-aids videos, huh? That's good. Let's do it.
As far as prepping is concerned and stuff, Eric, I mean, what's your best advice as far as somebody starting out prepping?
Well, personally, man, I think prepping should be, I mean, just regular basic survival is as far as just having some extra food in the house is the bare minimum to have some. Power goes out for a couple of weeks, which has happened to me during Katrina and stuff like that. Thank God I was prepared for this stuff. You know, I had extra food, and everybody else was stressing over ice and stuff to eat and power, you know, and all that. I was the only one in the neighborhood with a generator. Ran the whole house. You know, it's just, what blows my mind is people don't think about it till the time comes, and by then it's too late.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, I've known you since 2009, and I remember when we worked together, we talked about all this stuff. Takes at least a year's worth of food storage to be adequately prepared for an event. Having good weapons on hand, being trained with them, and all that kind of stuff. Being able to live out in the go out and live off the land. You know, you kind of taught me that from the beginning.
Right, and I understand that a lot of people aren't into firearms, and a lot of people aren't even into the fact of defending themselves. Some people I talk to, guns are repulsive to them, but you know, touching upon the guns and the defensive tools that are used in this business of defending the food that you've stored might be pretty important. You might want to, I'm not saying rush out spend $5,000 on an HK-91 or anything, but or an assault rifle, but a 22 or a basic shotgun or something like that would not only defend your home, but would gather game once you started depleting your food, or add to it, you know, supplement what you already have. With that being said, shot a deer yesterday. It's a nice just now, so you know, we're coming right along with all this.
Yeah. But what's your thoughts on maybe starting off with basic food storage? You know, the ham radios, communication. You know, I'd like to start off with just an introductory guide to a bug out bag or get home bag. I think everybody should have one of those.
Of course, and especially being as cold as it's been getting where we live now, at normal temperatures, you know, as I don't know if some of the audience knows, but I mean, we live in Mississippi, and we're not used to having 17-degree nights here. And you get a flat tire on the side of the road, people been used to being dressed with short sleeve, you know, a light jacket. Well, you can't stand in this 17-degree weather trying to change a flat tire with 30-mile-an-hour winds blowing with a light jacket. It's not going to happen, you know. And you ain't got no food and water in your car or anything like that. I mean, it's going to make for a rough ride.
Yeah. I know.
My basic advice, Matt, as far as food goes, don't go crazy with it at first. If you're just getting into this stuff, just buy a can or two extra, a payday or whatever you think you can afford. I realize that times are tight, people on a budget, and hell, even I don't have a whole lot of extra money for this stuff, but it all adds up in a course of time. You know, pantry stuff. I had to buy a wire. I bought one of those wire shelves from Sam's and had it put together just for food stocks because I was out of room in my pantry, and I really wasn't doing nothing abnormal as far as collecting food goes. You know, I wasn't spending that much extra. It wasn't like I was going to spend $500 extra and trying to do it all at once. So take your time with it, you know, folks. Don't go crazy with it. I mean, if you're just getting into it, especially.
Yeah, that's a good point. First aid is another big one. You can't have enough first aid.
I'm glad you brought that up. You know, and I wanted to touch upon that too because I have in one of my bags I have a deluxe first aid kit, and I probably have 7 of the deluxe first aid kits throughout, even just my house. One in the car, one in my bag. I don't ever want to be without the ability to repair myself should something happen to me, especially a basic cut or bruise or scrape or bullet hole or a knife wound or you know, even cutting your own hand, skinning a squirrel or something. You know, we don't want to be without that.
No.
Water's another big thing too that I can't stress upon. Filtration, and there again, some of this stuff is astronomical as far as the prices they want for some of this stuff. You don't have to have all that. You know, if you filters, catch some rainwater off the roof or something, you know, a pot, some way to boil it. We're talking about basic stuff here, you know, and that's all you really need. You don't have to go spend $348 on one of the big giant Brita things that'll filter out pond stuff. You don't have to do that at first. If you can afford it, great. If not, you don't have to worry about the big stuff.
I'm a big fan of the Life Straws, SHTF and Go website that I'm always plugging on my channel. I want to get into maybe doing some product reviews. They've offered to send some stuff, which is great. They've offered Eric for us to do some product reviews. They've got some filtration straws good for 5,000 gallons per straw, and they're only $20 a piece. Well, I carry 2 of them in each bug out bag, which I've got 3. One for me, one for my wife, and an extra one in the camper that I put together. You know, the one that we put together about 8 months ago. So I think we got a lot to offer. I've had some requests from numerous individuals and subscribers now that are interested in looking at some of this stuff and seeing some of the reviews and some of the topics and prepping skills, basic prepping skills that I think is very necessary for people to know what we're going to be talking about. Now, granted, there's you know as well as I do, you're as big on YouTube as watching YouTube as I am. You know the plethora of prepping channels out there, like John with the Prepared Mind, a bunch of survival channels that are out there. But I think sticking to the basics at first would be the best avenue, and I think it'd be some good information. Spice Queen Foods is another one. They offer 15 to 20 year shelf life. I'm supposed to be getting a promo code from the owner directly. They're out of Missouri. I've showed you some of the stuff that I have at my home. But I guess, ladies and gentlemen, the biggest thing is knowledge is power, and it's really powerful if you've got these prepping skills and the lights go out. It's really powerful to be able to have these basic survival skills for you and your family. And that's all Eric and I are trying to do, is make a contribution to all the subscribers out there, to give them an avenue to look at some of the basic skill sets and prepping items and issues that people deal with during prepping. Eric just said a good point, being able to live off the land, and as far as having a first aid kit, because you know as well as I do, Eric, I mean, if a major event happens, it's too late to run out and get your prepping supplies at that point.
More, I couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, I'll give you a good example about the little story I was telling you about Katrina. You know, here I am with the barbecue pit running. I think I stayed up like I don't even know, 50 hours cooking everybody else's stuff in their refrigerator before it went bad, and I'm literally feeding my whole neighborhood. And I mean, that pit ran morning, noon, day, and night. You know, people bringing me just bags of elk meat and steaks and sausage, and I mean, even beer. You know, I mean, all the stuff that was going to go bad. You know, they would have had to throw away otherwise. And I cooked it all for the whole neighborhood gladly. I mean, luckily I was prepared. And I come off of that and felt quite fortunate that we had all that. And I really, and people say, oh man, you got all this extra this, and you got all, okay, well, I may not ever need it, but I have it. So think about it. Even, I mean, right down to toothpaste and toilet paper. I mean, to having a way to clean yourself up, you know, the water ain't on. You know, that's a blessing to have some baby wipes and some toothpaste and some deodorant. You know, it will smell like an old wet dog for 2 weeks.
Well, that's a good way of putting it. But I think once
not just the food you got to think about; it's the little things. And I'll touch upon it again, folks. You don't have to do all this at one time. And move on to something else that you think is important, that you think you might need. And another thing too, Matt, before we go any further, you really kind of need to pick your state and the environment you live in and the predicament you think you might be in as far as prepping. Don't just go. If you live in a cold climate, you might want to have extra jackets and stuff. If you live down south, you know, a giant coat in your bug out bags, you know, it'd probably be handy, but not as handy. You know, if you lived in Massachusetts or something. But kind of pick your surroundings as far as your bug out bag goes and what you think you need to put in it.
Right. You know, I've always kept a tarp in one of my bags that I carry in my vehicle, just to lay down on the ground or use as as a shelter component. It's just little things like that make a big difference when the time comes to using it.
Sure, and you could collect rainwater with it. You know, use it as a signal, set it on fire. I mean, any kind of thing. Look, sky's the limit with a tarp. I mean, I totally agree. Well, very, very, very important piece in your kit is a little tarp.
In your
car.
Yeah, waterproof matches, utensils. Even things as simple as Vaseline has multiple uses as a fire starter. The list just goes on, and that's kind of where I wanted to get at, Eric. Just wanted to do a basic introductory video and just let everybody out there introduce them to you, and hopefully we'll get this thing kicked off here early spring and get some videos out there. And I really think this will be a good thing. I think it'll get the attention of at least my subscribers for sure, and possibly, hopefully, some others, and just be our way of contributing to the prepping communities or future preppers out there that may be on the fence, but
Sure.
but I can tell you,
Well,
I know you can agree with me after some of the things that we've seen and been through, and you and I are alike on what's going on in the modern day news. You can't be too prepared. At least that's what I want to get the message out. Just that. If you're not prepared, ladies and gentlemen, you might want to think about getting prepared for you and your family. And this channel will be a way to help mentor or help educate, or even those whom have already been prepping. Maybe one or two things that we cover that you've never seen before. Because my friend Eric here is widely versed. He's just like me. We're just an old couple of Mississippi country boys, but don't let that fool you. I mean, we do have some knowledge, and Eric's got a lot more than I do. Eric, touch on some of the things as far as basic survival that you think that you'd like to maybe start off with. Let's kind of think about the people that are new to this prepping that you think would be important to go over.
Well, let me ask you this: we talking about surviving in the woods? We talking about surviving in your house should something happen? What topic? What do you want to pick here?
Well, let's say it in the home at first. Then eventually you have to move into the woods. You get what I'm telling you?
Yeah, I got you. Well, as far as your home goes, food, and more food, and water, flashlights, batteries. I mean, when the lights are out, even the simplest $3 lantern is the bomb. So, and I've been there. Even when I first started this back in the early '90s, hell, I only had two little old C-cell battery flashlights, and they weren't very bright. But I'm gonna tell you something: you in that bathroom trying to do your business, it's nice to have something to let you know when you got to that point where you could stop. So, even just the little things you are going to miss when you don't have them. And I cannot stress enough about the aspirin medication. Batteries were so important. It's so many times over just the power going out for a day or two. And because these gadgets and gizmos that we use need a lot of batteries. And I have one drawer in my house. It's a deep drawer, and it's got every kind of battery down there you can think of in there as far as common batteries. I'm not talking about watch batteries and all that, but and there again, hearing aid batteries. If my mama's deaf, she has a cochlear implant and all that. She requires these little special batteries that we have to get, that are expensive too. So, and water. Listen, God, I can't even stress. The food isn't near as important as the water. I don't think personally, because you go 2 or 3 days without water, you're gonna be in a bind.
Right.
You can go 3 or 4 weeks without food. And have a way to prepare it. If you got electric stove, you're gonna need a little gas stove. There's all the things you need to think about before. Like that goes all back to your environment. How's your house set up? You got propane, you got electricity, got natural gas. My old house had natural gas. This house has propane. I have a big giant 250. I say giant, it's standard size, but 250 gallon propane tank. Well, hell, that's only going to last a few weeks in times of crisis. Well, I have extra 5-gallon tanks that I can directly hook to that line should something happen. So I could buy myself an extra 3 or 4 weeks if I need to, and then after that, we'll be split wood. So,
Right.
You gotta kind of fit your needs to your surroundings, and I can't really stress that. And if you live in the city, it's going to be different than living in the country, because you probably won't have the availability to hunt unless you're shooting little squirrels out of your backyard. But part But anyway, like I said, it can be done. It can be done. You just have to sit down and think about what you need to collect as to where you live.
Yeah, it's still a good point, Eric, because, I mean, some people that hear this were probably thinking, good grief, shooting squirrels in the neighborhood? Well, it's not so far-fetched, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, just as of today, one of the headlines that I have posted as of an hour ago, there was a cow being slaughtered in broad daylight by a mass of people in Venezuela. There's you an example of a SHTF situation countrywide.
Well, speaking of Venezuela, man, they done ate all the zoo animals. I wonder how elephant tastes. I mean, these people were killing the cops, the police, to take their firearms to go kill animals to live. As far as I know, the last report I had out of Venezuela was there's not a cat, a dog. Hell, I don't even know if they ate the damn goldfish. So, I mean, they've taken a wheelbarrow of their currency to buy a hamburger. A literally wheelbarrow of money to buy a hamburger.
Right. Well, in these uncertain times, you can't have enough information, folks. You're seeing it every day as the news comes out. Just not to break away from this, Eric, but I mean, we're hearing more and more standoffs with Russia, China, and North Korea. Russia is actively doing naval drills by the day. Pat Buchanan said today that the world is watching to see what's going to result from the President Trump's administration in North Korea. Who knows? So I think it's more than more than ever to try to educate as many as we can before we do have a major event in this country. But well, I'm going to conclude it with that, and I'm going to bring Eric on here some more. And ladies and gentlemen, I wanted you guys to hear Eric, and wanted to talk about some of the stuff that we were going to be doing, and we're going to get some thoughts together on some of these initial videos that we're going to be putting out, but I think they're going to be quite useful and good tools to go with to help educate all lights in the different levels of prepping that they may be. Beginners, intermediate beginners, and even some that have been prepping for some time now. We're hoping to have something to offer for all three. Well, this is Matthew and Eric. Thank you for joining us. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Pray for the United States of America. Long live 1776. Support our vets. Patriots, stand tall together for that anthem. Keep fighting. Visit these 3 websites, everybody. These are good websites with good products, and we're hoping to do good reviews on some of those products on this new channel, Tnfm Prepping, with Eric and I. Continue to visit truth.notfictionmatters.com. Till next time, God bless every one of you. Thank you.